I think what's important is that you should definitely identify the kinds of digital assets you have, and you need to take them to your planner and talk to them about how those assets fit into your greater estate plan.
Hi, welcome to the CPMT podcast. I'm Matt Lambros. I'm new at the firm and new on the podcast.
Hi, I'm Kayla Chen, and I'm returning. Today, Matt and I are going to talk about digital assets.
Exactly. So what exactly is a digital asset? What happens to a digital asset when you pass away? And what is RUFADAA?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, Matt, I think the most important question is, what is a digital asset? Because, I think most people don't realize that this applies to them. Like, I don't have RFT sneakers, which I always pick on RFT sneakers. I read an article about them and they're hilarious. Look it up. I don't have RFT sneakers. What kind of digital assets do I even need to think about? So anytime you have an online account where you have a login and there's any kind of aggregated content, data, storage that you've created or that you've contributed to, that's a digital asset attributable to you. So your email account, your Dropbox, your OneDrive, your Facebook and social media accounts, all of those are digital assets. And your third question, what's RUFADAA? It's the Revised Uniform Fiduciary Access to Digital Assets Act. Lawyers, we love the acronyms, so RUFADAA is fine. But it is a uniform code that was created to handle the digital assets after someone passes away. And it's been adopted by Georgia and a lot of other states that have adopted some of the uniform trust codes and uniform probate codes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, from what I understand, it was adopted by Georgia not too long ago, and it basically helps cover everything that you just mentioned. Anything held in a cloud for your benefit. So Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook, anything that is yours, but you don't know where it's actually being stored, essentially.
Yeah. So, fun fact, I'm Yelp Elite. I didn't know if you knew that. My Yelp account and my reviews are content that I've created. It's a side hobby. So anytime I create a review for a restaurant or all the pictures that I've put into that account, they're all digital assets attributable to me. But I think, for most people, where you store your photos. We used to have the 82 million photo albums of various shades of beige in your grandma's basement. And now we put everything in the cloud. And so all of the pictures I have of my daughter are there, and they're in an account attributable to me.
Believe me, I understand how important that is. My fiance has never deleted a photo ever, and she won't actually tell me how much she pays each month for photo storage, but I know it's much more than I do.
I will pay all of the money for the 18 different photos of my child eating a popsicle, or picking up a piece of chalk. They look exactly the same, but all 18 of them are important.
Exactly. This is very important stuff. It's everything that you need as everything becomes more and more digital in our lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So in addition to those kind of photo storage things, a lot of the companies that have digital accounts have I almost think of it like a beneficiary designation, like in a brokerage account. It's not quite the same, but essentially you can designate someone to be in charge of your account or to memorialize or collect the information off of your account, preserve the digital assets after you pass. Mm-hmm. So I think Meta actually does a really good job of this. So Facebook and Instagram, they call it a legacy contact. You can designate in your account today who your legacy contact is, and then when you pass away, that person can memorialize your page. They can kind of freeze it in time so that people can use it as a way to process, grief. Or they can also download all of the data, preserve all of the photos that you've stored there, all of that content, and so they have access to do that as part of Meta's in-house process. Places like Microsoft OneDrive, they have departments and avenues where you can request that access, but I do like the way that Meta does it kind of as a designated person ahead of time.
And if you passed away without actually naming that legacy contact, could your personal representative or executor then appoint that contact for you?
Sure. So technically in Georgia, your personal representative, the person that's appointed by the court to act on behalf of your estate, can step into your shoes for any digital assets under RUFADAA to pull that information or aggregate or preserve any of your digital assets. Now, what's unfortunate is the process is probably a little more cumbersome. They'll have to provide all of the documentation and things like that in order to gain access. But it's definitely something that personal representatives should think about, because you don't want to leave that stuff unattended.
Absolutely. So in today's age, people actually make a lot of money off of things like Instagram and Facebook, and these have become very valuable assets. What exactly should someone in that role with one of those assets do if the influencer passes away?
I mean, you're absolutely right, Matt. Influencers these days, I mean, everything from your followers to the content you've created, all of those brand deals, those are, I mean, it's all aggregated content that is a digital asset. It has significant value. So I think what's important to note is that those kinds of assets need to be treated in a very business-like manner. And so taking the time to plan for how they need to be treated after you pass away or in the event of your incapacity is really important, especially for folks who are out there making a living or generating income from content creation, any kind of content creation, website development, all of that.
Mm-hmm. So for someone with one of those types of assets, how would they know what to do in their plan?
Well, there's so many different kinds of digital assets that it's hard to give like a blanket what to do on them. I think what's important is that you should definitely identify the kinds of digital assets you have, and you need to take them to your planner and talk to them about how those assets fit into your greater estate plan.
All right. So now I'd like to get into blended families.
Ooh, blended families.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that's a sitcom waiting to happen, right?
It sure is.
I mean, so I had this professor one time who always said that, people don't love to talk about death, taxes, or money. And as estate planners, we get to talk about all three. And then my add to that is, no matter what happens, no matter how normal your family is, when somebody dies, everybody gets weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but everybody gets weird. And so when you're planning and you have a blended family, people think that it's not going to be a problem or it's not something they need to think about. But it doesn't hurt to take the extra step just to be extra clear so that, everybody is on the same page when they're handling assets after a loved one's died.
Yeah, and just to be clear, a blended family is any time that a set of parents get divorced, essentially, and maybe someone gets remarried and has other kids or something like that. I just wanted to bring that up because before I got into estate planning, I actually had never heard that term before.
Yeah. Well, a blended family is kind of your classic Brady Bunch scenario, right? Mm-hmm. His kids, her kids,
Exactly.
And now they have an entire, split level full of children. So that's your traditional blended family. But I think the blended family goes even further than that. So, grandfather and grandmother have a number of children, and then those children end up having blended families. Mm-hmm. The grandchildren are still considered part of a blended family. And so those dynamics continue on through the lineal descendants when it comes to planning.
Yeah, could you talk about some of the approaches to blended families? I know some people want to treat everything equally, other people want to divide mine and yours. What could you say about that?
I think in the traditional Brady Bunch style scenario, what's important is to talk to your spouse. I think I've seen it handled a bunch of different ways, and it really depends on the age of the spouses quite frequently. So like where you are in your career, are they young? Do they have adult children, or are the children still minors? I think all of that plays, but I think open communication between the spouses, and often open communication with the ex-spouses or the other parents is important too. So I think everyone's biggest concern is, will my kids be provided for in the event that I pass away first? Or will my inheritance be preserved for my children, but I still want to take care of my spouse? Those are kind of the biggest concerns that people have when we start talking about blended families traditionally.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up your biggest concerns, because I think it's important to talk about why this is even an important issue. What is something that could go wrong if you didn't appropriately account for a blended family?
Right. Well, my favorite example is, I've got clients, husband and wife, and husband passes away, and wife decides to marry Ryan Gosling. Okay, cool. Yay, Ryan. We're so happy for you. But Ryan has his own kids. And wife has her own kids. We want to make sure that anything that is from the marriage of the prior spouse ends up with wife's children. So I think that is, there are steps you can take to preserve those assets, but also make sure that, when Ryan's acting career ends and all of his investments, are kind of done, that your marital household is still preserved.
So, is there anything that applies to essentially every blended family? Is there something they all need to know that can help them with their estate planning?
I think the important thing for every blended family to consider, Matt, is that, how do we want to treat both sets of any of our children? And the answer is it depends, which is every lawyer's favorite answer. But it's, I think open conversations and allowing your planner to be part of those conversations is important, because there's a lot of things that you can do where you can make sure that everybody is cared for and that there's no questions, when you're no longer here, for how things should be handled. I think being clear, planning ahead, and talking to your planner is the most important thing that a blended family can do.
Absolutely. Being open and honest with your planner is always crucial.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching the CPMT podcast, and we were so pleased to have you. Today, Matt and I talked about a lot of different things, and we hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any more questions, any of our attorneys here at Cohen Pollock Merlin Turner will be happy to help you. We would love to, talk to you more about any of the topics we've discussed today.